Hey, this video contains spoilers for Dawnshard, third book and a half in the Stormlight Archive series. You have been warned. When I was a kid, I wanted to be two things when I grew up, a witch and a pirate. Maybe I was a brave little fella who dreamt of destroying some evil with her cool magic. Looking back now, I think I just wanted a good reason to dress spooky and carry a sword around, while being seasick. Dawnshard is the book that proudly stands between books 3 and 4 of the Stormlight Archive series, where non-sailors play sailor on a ship to a mysterious stranded island. I had no idea what to expect from this book, and I was afraid it would stray away from the first trilogy's greatness. But I was soon reassured because we got our ex-chicken girl and our ex-one-armed her Daisy forming the best team ever. How did that unfold? Worry not, I'm here to tell you all about it. But before that, real quick, let me talk to you about today's sponsor. Kidding. There's no sponsor. I'm not famous. Only you can make me. Go on, I'm waiting. No, what I want to say is, I just started this new feature on my channel called Super Thanks. It's for you to super thank me for being such a beacon of joy in your life. Here's how it goes. I get monies, very small amounts, let's not get greedy. You get entertainment, fancy highlight in the comment section, the title of Starlight Gancho, and I read and react to your super comments in the next super video. Simple, isn't it? This isn't mandatory, of course. You can still enjoy my content for the small sum of 1 subscription. Over 70% of you aren't subscribed. I see you, and I'm not proud of you. Alright, time to fasten your seatbelts, or whatever they have on boats. And up the anchor goes. Off we go on our our accidental journey to the Dawnshard. The prologue is short and doesn't really do anything aside from a cameo and maybe a little foreshadowing that also links to past events. Yalb, whose name was very familiar, and that's because his Shallan sailor friend, as I was later reminded, once was on a sinking ship. And I freaked out because I immediately thought of Kaza. Remember that weird Oathbringer interlude? The one with poisoned people in a disappearing island? Well, Yalb was not on that ship. For the simple reason that he's still alive and the ship never sank anyway. Guess what shows up on the horizon all of a sudden? First, Dreams, the very ship Kaza was on that's now just a ghost of itself. Now I can freak out, especially when... I'll tell you in a bit. Let me introduce to you the real MVP, Risen, commonly known as Chicken Girl. Chicken Girl has come a long way since her apprenticeship days with her Babsk. Not only did she work for the Thaylen Queen, she's also now a trade master with her own ship and crew, and even her own span-read social media. Sick! You know what else is sick? Kiri. Sorry. Poor baby is pale, sleeps all day, and refuses to slurp on Stormlight. The only way to save her is by taking her home, the mysterious island Akina. Good thing Queen Navani, hi there, fancy seeing you here, has an expedition request to that same place. Here's the thing though, that island is dangerous territory because we don't really know what's on it, there's a weird storm around it, and no previous expedition was successful. Just look at First Dreams. Yes, this is why I freaked out. The ship was on its way to Akina, and later showed up empty. Tell me you wouldn't be scared, especially when even radiance might not be enough because of the island's creatures that can drain Stormlight. At least they can be friends with Kiri. Stormlight yummy. Kiri is so adorable, by the way. Imagining her chewing on a sphere and playing with it fills my heart with joy. Speaking of joy, how can we not mention the Lopen? I had no idea he was featured in this book. What a nice surprise, and what a great entrance. He meets with some officials, and the first thing he does after saying hello is lurch one of them in the air. What hospitality! I've never seen this before. Ever eccentric, this guy. I'd somehow almost forgotten how fun he was. In the span of, what, 4 pages? He spoke too many iconic lines for me to mention all of them here. If I were to point out every single hilarious thing he says or does, this review would basically never end. And let's not forget our little Nako Rua. I wish I too were able to grow 6 arms to smack my forehead at people's stupidity. Radiant the Lopen is part of the expedition, and Risen ends up liking him. I mean, who doesn't? They bond over jokes about Thalens who can't walk, and I'll live for it. Not exactly the same, but as someone who constantly laughs at her own mental suffering, I very much appreciate it. Oh, Fleeting comment. Kaladin appears for a grand total of 1 minute and he's already sighing and grumbling. Hi, I missed you too, Gon. Another fleeting comment. Risen is interested in a flying Fabrial. No, she's not trying to become a windrunner. She simply wants to be able to move around in her chair without relying on someone else. Rushu takes care of that, and forgive me, Ardent, I understood nothing of your explanation. All I know is it's some ruby science and now Risen's chair can hover in the air. My chicken girl is happy and I am happy. Back to stressful matters, aka the ship, which might be cursed. You don't believe me? What's with all these bad omens then? The ship's pet is dead, the food stock is full of worms. Although Risen fixes it by improving morale, mentioning bad omens at all is a bad omen itself in this kind of book. Come on, Goncho, don't tell me you didn't think it could and would get worse. I was betrayed by someone I trusted. Reading this, I thought, well, it's hard getting betrayed by someone you don't trust. And I kid you not, the very same person that spoke this line literally 2 pages later turns out to be a traitor. Risen's assistant is a sleepless. Forgive me if you're a sleepless, and this is deeply ironic coming from an insomniac such as myself, but I find you incredibly unsettling. A mass of crumlings operate in human bodies like animatronics, splitted the skin open like one would open a window for some fresh air, squirm in insides and move in creme instead of organs. They even have their own telepathic network where they just need to buzz at each other from afar to communicate. Well, it's kinda what we humans do with our phones, but still. I don't feel so good. Anyway, who hired this guy? Did you read the contract in extra time, Risen, like Tim advised? Cause I think you're getting bamboozled. The treacherous assistant is eventually put to jail, but another bad thing happens. There's a dead-shelled creature in the sea. Bad omens? This is the worst omen. The sailors were mortified, so I'm glad Risen could turn this situation around and boost morale once more. Although it's a bit concerning how easily these sailors get swayed. Maybe it's because they're on a ship and it sways? Come on, that was funny. Even funnier is that the dead creature in the sea, turns out it, much like the Sleepless, is just a huge mass of cremlings. Crawling in my skin, this creme it will not leave. I'm laughing because I want to cry. It's been a few weeks and we're now nearing our destination. But we're not setting foot on that island before going through a storm. And storms are bad news, especially for ships. Thankfully, we got the Lopen protecting the crew because, as basic friendship rules dictate, you don't let your friends drown. So, every time one of them slips and is propelled into the water, Lopen fishes them out one by one like fishies. Everyone survives, aside from 2 or 3 casualties on the island proper. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Look, there's gem hearts all over the beach. You guys, we just achieved the biggest achievement of all, ultimate wealth. Kidding, everything's fake, but the achievement still stands because the true prize is the friends we made along the way. Aww. I hope I'm still getting paid though. There's an oath gate, and this is the true goal of Queen Navani. But this one is fake too. I think at this point, even the sand we're standing on is fake, and the water around it, and the air too. At least there is a real oath gate, and this one is underground, hidden behind a not so subtle video game breakable wall. Whoever tried to hide it there is a sneaky little bit. But the likes of them are everywhere. Take this sea of cremlings swarming the ship and recreating the Sleepless assistant along with big lumps of half-human bodies. All this body horror is so yummy with my breakfast. Cord, the ship's cook, and also Rock's daughter, literally scoops Risen and jumps in the sea, following Luxpren only her can see, deep in the water and all the way to a secret cave. Bro, Luxpren or not, I would have died even before touching the water. So while our girls are exploring new unlocked areas, the Lopen is fighting for his life. Oath gates are nice and all, but what do we do about that giant chol thingy trying to feast on sailors? Certainly not whatever the Lopen is doing, because he just got his Stormlight slurped away and he fell from meters and meters high straight to the ground. Please don't let my man go from 1 arm to 2 arms to 1 leg. We're lucky one of our ganchos around speaks his third ideal just in time to obliterate the enemy. Magnificent! Even our Lopen eventually gets it after repeating in vain that he will protect those he hates. To be fair, he put more passion into insulting the Stormfather of a blustery one and a then gancho god thing. he actually just had to twist the ideal around into, I will protect people from myself. Yeah, cause the Lopen is the biggest menace around with all his jokes and throwing people around and whatnot. Let's cut back to Risen. What is she up to in her cave? Well, she's negotiating with the enemy. I kid you not. Cord is busy looting the place, picking up gems and shard plates, and Risen is making a contract with a sleepless assistant. The terms of the contract? You and your sleepless allies spare everyone on this expedition, and in exchange, I will teach you the way of humans. And then there's a little asterisk, taking you to a footnote saying, to better manipulate them. The sleepless assistant's like, no, you don't know what you did. Our enemies are gonna win. The Gosmere is gonna break. And a bunch of other things I don't understand. But ultimately, he agrees to the terms of the contract, which means he'll keep on hanging around Risen. Highly disturbing. Here's the most important bit about this cave they're sitting in. The mysterious mural. A golden shattered sun. Risen feels warmth from it, and it talks to her. I have a habit of talking to walls. I'd be incredibly concerned if they actually replied to me. Unlike Risen, who accepts whatever command the mural gives her, and I honestly have no idea what happened here. She absorbs the power of the thing? What does the mural represent? What is this power it held? Why does the sleepless assistant lose his marbles when he realizes what Risen did by not only holding the power but becoming it? Who are these enemies he speaks of, and why must they never know where these Dawnshards are? What does he mean by protecting the Cosmere? You're just a speaking mass of Kremlings! Mystery upon mystery, and the book never tells us what the actual storm. Here's the one clue we get about Risen's new power. Her tea tastes extra good. The sunlight is brighter than usual. The colors of her room are now vivid. Contrast and sounds are clearer. In short, her senses are heightened. Huh. Warbreaker, anyone? Come on, Brandon. You didn't even try to be sneaky with this one. Too easy a case for Detective Kaya. Although I still have no idea how that is possible and what even a Dawnshard is. I suppose it's okay, because there's worse. The worst of all, actually. Kiri isn't done growing. Like all babies, she will eventually grow even more and stop being small and cute. I think this, of all things, is the true tragedy of this story. That, Gonchos, was Dawnshard. I love these small novellas. They add layers to the story in between books, and we get to see more of the side characters. Risen's perspective was engaging and good for representation, and the Lopen was a delight as always. I have even more questions now. I swear reading these books sometimes feels like I'm only half reading them. They're always keeping things from me. I hope there will be more Risen in the next book. I need to know what happens with that power of hers. Anyway, this is it for today. Next will be the Wheel of Time 3, that's right, and then we'll see. I know a lot of you really want that Rhythm of War video, but I expect it'll be a lot of work since my Oathbringer review is over an hour long. So, patience. I promise we will get there. In the meantime, take care, Gonchos. Gently tap that like button, spam read this video to your friends, perform an x-ray on your body to make sure it's not infested with Kremlings. I recently discovered my last 2 brain cells were likely operated by one of them. This was supposed to be a secret. Bye!